Open the door to November. This is the Remix Morning Show. Now, we got a dope show for y'all. Hope y'all ready for it. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to our hosts. We got no other than Dr. Jerry. And burn it down, Kim Brown. And Lucretia Williams.
To all those other morning shows, your reign on the top was short like leprechauns. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the Remix Morning Show.
This goes out to you and you and you and you.
That's right. Lucretia's like, I don't know what y'all talking about.
What?
She does.
Good morning.
Your reign on the top was short like
I actually don't
leprechauns.
She don't.
Yes,
Biggie,
she does.
That's Biggie Smalls.
She's faking. She's not. She's putting us on. Yes, she is. Lucretia, come on.
Lucretia don't listen to hip hop.
Y'all don't study, man. Y'all don't
I
study the great.
know. I know. That's why I'm here.
There it is. Welcome.
You just
Welcome,
don't read, beloved.
Got her. Yo. How was y'all weekend?
Wonderful. How about your weekend, Ear Doctor?
It was all right. I had a wisdom tooth bothering me, so it hit me yesterday. I had a quick fever to burn all the stuff out of me. I'm feeling much better. And I just never been one to go get a wisdom tooth pulled. I had a friend that died going to get their wisdom tooth pulled, so I was just like, I'm good. I'll just
Dog, I have
take the
never
pain.
heard of that. No disrespect.
Never heard of that either.
I've
No
never
disrespect
heard
either.
of that.
Yeah. I was like, damn. So I'm not a fan. You know, I'm not a fan of Western medicine anyway. So
Man,
I just go
I did
ahead.
the stand. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I just go ahead and get like got some cloves that numbs it, and then I got some ginger and some garlic, so I feel much better. Continue.
You're not going to put me in the situation of defending Western medicine. I would
hope
just
not.
encourage.
I hope not.
But I would encourage you to check your methodology. Check your methodology.
I don't think teeth extraction is Western medicine per se.
Why do we get wisdom teeth? Let's ask that question first. And why are they getting pulled?
Well, sometimes wisdom teeth can crowd the rest of your teeth because you get your wisdom teeth when you're an adult, right? After you're a big adult, after you've already gotten your adult teeth. So sometimes your wisdom teeth can come in and crowd your existing adult teeth and perhaps cause an infection, which sounds like something that you might have been dealing with over the weekend. So, I think just practical purposes there can be to getting your wisdom teeth removed.
But you know the thing about hospitals and doctors is they pretty much came about to hurry up and get the niggas back on the plantation. They said, like, listen, we got to get you back to work.
That's not the historical origin of medicine.
Come on over
No,
here.
that's not. That's just incorrect.
Let's get you in here and get you back out to the plantations.
That's not correct.
We'll give you some medicine.
There's just a lot there.
Some medicine that's not going to get it out of you, but will
that's
hold
not.
it down.
That's not correct.
Teach him, Ear Doctor.
That's
Teach
what medicine
him.
does.
Learn them.
Yeah,
Learn them,
you
Ear
got to
Doctor.
get it out of your system, not contain it and keep it down.
That's
okay.
Factually
I'm a health educator.
incorrect.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's again, everybody should check their methodology. Who hired you for that should check their methodology. How you reach your conclusions you should check your methodology. I hope all those watching check their methods for how they determine their health.
Tell him, Ear Doctor, we not adhering to no European methodologies out here. Tell him, Ear Doctor.
I don't get it. We don't believe what the people do in some things, but then we believe what they do when they do the Western medicines. It's like
you're
a mechanic.
doing exactly. I mean, again,
it's
you're
like
doing
a mechanic. You go to a mechanic, and you know that the mechanic's like, oh, if I don't mess this car up, then they're not gonna come back. If you're not sick, the doctors don't make no money.
But what if you are sick, though?
Huh?
Doctors were not invented to collect money when you were sick. They were established because people do get sick. And to survive, humanity needed to figure out how to heal that illness.
Then study Eastern medicines, get your herbs and do it and stop. Take your time, get rest. That's one big component of healing your body. Your body needs rest so it can fix the things that's going on. But they said hurry up and get on the plantation. We ain't got time for that rest. So
that's not the history of medicine and doctors. That's not it. But
Spit that fire, air doctor. Spit.
I'm a doctor.
I don't know
Drop a
why
gem
Kim
on
is
him. That's right.
co-signing. Don't let her put a
I would pick
battery
up
in
a
your back.
copy of
Keep it going, Kim.
Medical
know, I'm
Apartheid by Dr. Harriet Washington. I think that may be a
Right, but and having read at least some of that book and seen Professor Washington profess and lecture, does she conclude at the end of medical apartheid? Because a lot of people reference that. Does she conclude at the end of medical apartheid to abandon Western medicine?
no. Just that
So-
we, like every other system, our bodies were the fodder for it to produce most advancements, but not to abandon it completely.
Okay. So how were y'all weekend? Enough about me.
So just quickly, I had in the finest of Western medicine, I timed
Finest.
back in the day. I did what was sort of standard for deployment in the Navy, which is where if you knew you were going out to sea, you save all your appointments for then. Why waste time in port? And I arranged to have all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled in one setting during a deployment, so that I could get it all out the way and take my recovery time while we were out at sea and I wasn't missing anything. And I guess I was just lucky, but everything went perfectly well. And I have beautiful, healthy dentistry and have made it thus far these 30 years since. So just as again, please everyone check your methodology
Lucky.
before.
Not
That's
lucky.
what you do with luck.
It's absolutely
No.
not luck, but
Not luck.
okay.
I too had all 4 of my wisdom teeth extracted at the same time, ear doctor, and I survived. I mean, it did, make no mistake, it was terribly painful and,
Oh yeah,
and,
I mean,
and a very long recovery, especially if you were a smoker. They told you don't smoke on that wisdom tooth hole because you will get something called dry socket and you will be in excruciating pain. So I said, okay, let me quit smoking here for about 6 weeks. So yeah.
So I'm just gonna do a quick veggie and fruit fast for this week.
Good luck with that, bruv.
It's no luck. It's no luck. See, y'all talk about this luck. It's you do it or you don't. It's no luck.
Tell
It's no
them.
luck. You do it or you don't.
That's right.
so I just out of curiosity, I have to ask. So you are strictly one, I'm curious, where do you draw the line with Western medicine? Are you no medicine? No doctor's visits of any kind,
If
no
I have
checkups.
If I have like a heart attack or something like that,
Shit.
Well, what does Eastern medicine say for a heart attack?
I mean, the thing is, I've lost the mom in the hospital from a heart attack. I lost the dad in the hospital. I lost grandparents, aunts, uncles. Mad.
But are they
people in hospital.
dying? But the people dying in the hospital, all of us have lost people who have died, passed on in a hospital. But I don't know that the hospital was the cause for the passing. And were they not in a hospital, they would have been alive. That's the one-to-one I'm questioning.
We don't know.
At a little bit of the meth. Well, I don't know that we don't know. I'm saying that's why I'm saying we should check our methodology, because I just find your method to be a bit of a struggle. And then beyond medicine, what about of all Western technology? Where do you draw the line with that? Are you saying no Western technology should be engaged at all?
I'm
curious.
talk about Western technology. I was going to talk about the medicines. I mean, we do.
So the tech is good, but
we're
the
dealing
medicine
with Western
is.
technology right now.
I know you use turntables and a mixing board
Yeah,
and
I do.
microphones. So I'm just wondering where you draw, but I don't know. So I was just curious. So the tech is good, but the medicine is not good. Okay.
Yeah. The medicine's not good. Get some herbs, y'all. Study and do, as you say, your research and find out what herbs do what they do before these white doctors add stuff to these herbs. And yeah.
Tell them, ear doctor, the turntables is African of origin. Like, that's not European. Thank you. There's Africans invented them turntables and the mixer.
Yeah. So we outside, y'all.
That's not factually accurate either. But okay.
I think that sounds
whatever.
right.
A lot of fake news this morning.
I mean, there's a lot
Sounds-
going on this morning. But you know the real messed up thing though, so by the way, real quick, I talked about my weekend at the American Studies Association in the video yesterday. Please check that out. But what I didn't get to share happened last night was, and and this is what I get for dealing with monopoly capital. if I was ever going to call for a banning and a boycott of this whole music industry and Ticketmaster and Live Nation, now I fully want to get on board because it has now finally affected me directly. So that's really the bottom line. So last night, so if you all remember, a couple months ago, Jackie and Kim announced this great show that was going to come to DC, featuring Jizza and Fishbone. I went and got all the tickets, the VIP joints, the lounges, the fast lane this, the first lane that, all of this, that. Show up at the joint last night. It's blacked out dark. Show up, and on these little teeny tiny signs under the ticket stand, it says, show has been postponed. You will get a refund when it gets rescheduled.
Oh, shit.
When it gets rescheduled?
Yeah. So I said, wait a minute. All the texts and apps and emails and updates and now a little bit.
Say now.
An alert. Excuse me, Kim. I don't need the vernacular teachings right now. I just need to get this out. The not one alert. So we show up, wife looking fly, your boy was looking, as fly as he can, showing up in the new whip.
Oh. And
blacked out.
Damn.
Well, I hope you guys got a good date night downtown Silver Spring at least. Did y'all?
We attempted to, but between our age and our interests and our energy and the timing, we were like, you know what? Maybe this isn't such a bad idea. Pajamas is right around. Like a quick U-turn back down 29, and it was pajama time. It was
ain't nothing like the house of pajamas, boy.
And the real people who were disappointed were our daughters, who thought they had a night off.
Right.
Oh yeah, they lost. Yeah.
Like, what y'all doing home?
That's exactly what they said.
What y'all doing here? Like,
what are you doing here? Daddy, take her out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And Kim, you was going for a whole week. You good?
I'm good. Voice is back as much as it can be expected to be back.
What was you screaming on?
No, we had a bit of an animal pet loss around here, and I was just very upset. So I lost my voice. Thank you guys. Thank you.
No doubt. And Lucretia's just doing her thing in school.
Lucretia.
Yeah, I was in DC with apparently over 100,000 other people protesting for Palestine. Yeah.
What?
Good for you. Oh my God, I saw the
I thought it was 300.
It should have been. Yeah, I think it's definitely was 300 people. Yeah. 300,000. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, maybe when we come back from the news, you can tell us, what you saw. I saw some of the pictures. I was so blown away to see, so many people come out for Palestine. So since you were there, Lucretia, you can give us a first-person accounting of what you saw and observed.
Nice.
Yeah, it felt like it. It was hard to move. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Nice transition to the break as we do it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Yes. If you are here on the channel, hit that like button while you're up in here. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you know all the different joints coming down the pipeline. All right, with that said, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, and you can get some content that's not here. All right, boom. Let's get to the weather, because this weather is crazy right now. Let me tell you, let's start off in Atlanta. Now, you remember last week it was kind of cold. Today in Atlanta, it's going to be 79 degrees, damn near 80. All right, and also in D.C., it's going to get up to 76 degrees. So I don't think that the summer or whatever you want to call it is done just yet. Next, let's take it to Chicago. They know that the summer is over. It is 51 degrees over there. And now let's go down to Houston, 83 degrees. And let's take it to the West Coast, Oakland. They got 65 degrees over there, so I wouldn't go to that beach if I was you. All right, next let's take it to Bermuda. Only 76 degrees. Damn, it's hotter in Atlanta than it is Bermuda. That's crazy. And last but not least, let's take it to Tanzania. Tanzania got a high of 86 degrees. Now, that's pretty cool. I'll tell you what else is pretty cool. Your girl, Missy Elliott. Yeah, she just got introduced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Check this out.
Just feel like it's so far to reach when you in the hip hop world, and to be standing here, it means so much to me. I thank you.
So yeah, Missy has made it, as they say, the first. We still doing first black female artist to make it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So big up to Missy Elliott for putting in that work. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to your host right here on the Remix Morning Show.
I can't wait to see my baby's face. Move on. Move on.
Ear doctor.
What up?
Missy is the first woman rapper to make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There are other black women.
I didn't say that.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. See, that's
I thought he said female MC.
I did.
He always say female MC.
I did. But
I heard female. I heard you. I didn't hear you make that distinction. I was like, wait a minute, it can't be.
He said he was the first black female.
First black woman in the.
He didn't say female.
He wanted to. He meant to.
See, I thought you had my back, Kamal. You coming in here starting shit. What's the matter with the female word? It's just
Jesus! You make it makes me itch.
Female.
Stop! It's doing something to me. Like,
I mean, I don't even know still. I mean, obviously, I'm not the one being called it. It's more like the way it's female.
Yeah.
Females. Y'all these females, and then the female, and nigga, shut up. It's woman. If you like, to me, that's a tell. When niggas say female, it's like, oh, sir, you're telling me so much about yourself.
Really?
Right, yeah.
I mean, that was all it was.
That's what it was back in the day.
I know, and them niggas was telling us a lot about themselves then too. It was telling us a lot about themselves then also. Sheesh.
So is it a derivative of male?
It's not the word. I think it's the use of the word, the application of the word, the tone when the word is spoken.
These females be out here, you know what I'm saying?
I don't get it.
And it's these females.
Oh, and the clap too. It's just
From medicine to sexual politics, y'all. Ear doctor got you covered.
Yeah, everything.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
Say it again. Say that again. Say that part again.
I don't get it. I don't get this female stuff. It's crazy.
But big up to Missy, you guys. That is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It's a giant deal. It is ginormous, especially because it was Missy of all people. There could have been other women rappers that could have been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Missy.
Yeah, what happened to what's her name? What happened
MC
to
Light? What happened
MC
to
Light should be the first.
Queen Latifah?
So I just don't think they had the commercial
not
success.
Giving a fuck about this and not wanting it. What happened to that?
I like
all this. Let me get awarded by the state. Why?
The dude from the Rolling Stone magazine who doesn't think black folks have the intellectual capacity to ever.
He won't talk to her. He would not have interviewed her, but you can have an award. You can be in my Hall of Fame. Just shut up. Just shut up. You ain't got no thoughts.
What's his name? Man? What's his name? What's that guy's name? Weiner?
Nobody knows. Yeah.
All right. Well, to my women, men, and them out there, I can show them.
Oh, that was stuff for you. That is great, actually. I like that.
Big up to Missy. Shout out to Missy. Shout out to the whole 757. Yeah, big up to Virginia out here showing up, stomping the stage. I love to see it. Shout out to Missy Elliott. We love Missy.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
MC Light should have got there first.
I think it's a commercial thing. Come out. It's not about we know this music industry. It's not about who's best. It's not a true like the best singers, the best musicians, the best. It's who sells. But Missy was a unique combination of both commercial success and actual genuine talent. So I like to see people like that get their flowers.
So I wasn't F-bombing though. I was quoting because I don't cuss publicly. I was quoting Chuck D. So
When did I miss that part?
Just now, I said what happened exactly. What happened to Who Gives a? And remember Chuck D. I don't give a F about a goddamn Grammy. So I was just quoting him, and
he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame himself,
and probably showed up, and
probably singing the national anthem.
Right.
You have to take responsibility for that. I don't care.
The contradictions. Yeah.
Like you introduced them to us. I feel like you got to take responsibility for it.
I don't care, but I got
Is
it
that
though.
how
It's
it
like,
works?
okay.
I think
And
so.
forever, and
You
forever,
introduce them to us in the world. You got to pull your man back. Or something. You know
forever.
he's got getting called. No matter what, he's getting calls. Be like, yo, you see your man? You see your man? You see your man? You see your man?
Listen, let Flavor Flav disrespect the national anthem as much as he wants. You know what I'm saying? Let him
Is that
sing
what
it
that
wrong.
was?
Let him
These
sing it
males
off
out
key.
here doing some grimy
These
shit
males.
with these males out here.
With the claps. That's right. Well, anyway, y'all, let's go on and slap the map and get into these stories. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you and you and you. Welcome, everybody, to the Remix Morning Show exclusively here on Black Power Media. Today is Tuesday, November the 7th, Election Day in America. A lot of places, if there are elections happening where you are, Virginia, Ohio, Mississippi, all the places, please go vote, especially if you guys know that there are important issues on the ballot. We all know that all politics is local. Chances are this election, if there's one in your state, is more consequential than the fucking presidential election will be, as a lot of pertinent local issues get resolved in the state legislatures and city councils, etc. So if you can get out and vote today, please go vote, especially if you're in Virginia, especially if you're in Ohio. Get your ass out and vote, please and thank you. But yep, we got a good show in store for you today. We got Reverend Dr. Jared Ball, Kamau Franklin, Lucretia Williams. My name is Kim Brown. We got the ear doctor in the cut. Over the weekend, big protest happened here in Washington, D.C. in support of Palestine and in support of the ceasefire, that, Israel is committing war crimes basically against the Palestinian people in Gaza. And our own Lucretia Williams was on the ground in DC. Lucretia, you made the trip down from New York to come to DC specifically for this protest. Can you talk to us about what you saw and what you did?
Sure. Yeah, we were a part of the contingent of folks that got the People's Forum buses leaving from New York. And yeah, it was like a 13, 14-hour round trip. It was very tight, landing in DC and then right next to Freedom Plaza, where there were at least, I don't know, people are saying like 300,000 people. It felt like 300,000 people there. A wide contingent of folks we saw the Central American comrades, we saw Black Alliance for Peace. There were just so many great speakers, and we were ready to march, but we had to get back on the bus at 5, and that was actually when the speeches ended. Like the last speech, we were walking out of Freedom Plaza, Gaza Square, as people started to call it, at 5. And so we were to march back to the bus, but it was great seeing that energy. I mean, we were gathering for, genocide, a horrible thing, but that energy there, the freedom that we all felt for Palestine was evident. Yes. It was great.
How would you describe the crowd?
Boisterous, happy, kids were there. I felt like we were all clear. So many people were clear on their purpose for Palestine. And, I didn't hear not a single anti-Semitic thing. So people saying that these protests were, we were all terrorists. The T word was inaccurate, I think. So, yeah.
Demographically, how would you describe the crowd?
All ages, intergenerational, people with different mobilities. I think we were looking out for each other, people were like, wave the flags over here if a medic is needed and, moving out of the way for that. I think it was just, yeah, it was great. Yeah, so many kids there, so many families there. Some of the signs were just phenomenal. I wish I had the pictures to pull up. They're on my phone, but they were great.
Yeah, I saw. So I didn't attend, but I saw how it was covered locally. It was only given 10 seconds, 15 seconds, which I thought was telling, especially juxtaposed with the size of the crowd, right? Like you only give 10 seconds to a 300,000 person like rally in Washington DC, but they were showing the pictures of people who had red paint on their hands, and to symbolize blood, and they put their red handprints all over the White House gates and in proximity to the White House to symbolize the blood of the Palestinians. So I thought that was pretty poignant, but that was also something that was seized upon by the news. Like there were 2 arrests for vandalism. I said 2. it was 100,000 people down there. 2 arrests. That's the news.
You know who one of them was, though? One of them was our good friend Fergie Jim Chambers.
Really?
Yeah, he got arrested at the McDonald's for. I think that the story is that like there was kids who were putting paint on the McDonald's window. And the cops would come in, and Jim took the arrest for him, kind of like he jumped in and took the arrest for him. So it was pretty cool of him. Obviously, he's got the resources to support himself in terms of trial and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that he did that, big ups to him. But at the time, it's that you said 2 arrests. We thought he was the only one arrested in the whole 100,000 or 200,000, or even 300,000. So that was like, what happens when you got numbers. For a lot of times they can't mess with you, so that was good.
Word.
But I do think y'all are missing part of the story, because the most accurate coverage of the day was the New York Post.
Always
nice.
And the reason I brought it up, the thousands of pro-Palestinian marches, is because we as community movement builders.
Oh, finish with the headline, Kamal.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So the headline is thousands of pro-Palestinian marchers descend upon White House chanting Allah Akbar, fuck Joe Biden, as they demand ceasefire. And so part of what I don't know what march you were at, Lucretia, but according to the Post, there was a lot of anti-Semitism like sprouting left and right. Chants such as, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. You cannot say that. That is inherently, you know what I mean? You can't say that. Long live the Intifada.
And we know the New York Post cares deeply about anti-Semitic rhetoric in society. Deeply.
Oh, I do want to say one thing before you go on. I was really impressed with this Jewish contingent who came up, and they were like, "We're here on the Sabbath. We can't use the microphone, but we have a speech prepared." So that was read out in solidarity, and I thought that was amazing.
Let's go.
In fact, I forgot what's the correct name. The Jews for Peace. Is that it?
Oh, Jewish Voice for Peace. Yeah.
Jewish Voices for Peace. I mean, they've been outstanding in terms of the different tactics that they've used. And like you said, has not gotten coverage in a lot of mainstream media, but has gotten some great coverage in other places, including they did a takeover of the Statue of Liberty. They did a takeover of not Times Square, but I think they had a rally there, but of Grand Central Station.
Grand Central, right.
Yeah, so they've been doing a lot of great work.
I mean, this is another, sorry, it's another example of why this is not, although religions are political, this is not per se about the religions. This is, and I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but the point is the Zionism doesn't care that religious Jews and observant Jews and even some very conservative, like deeply religious Jews are all against all of this. They don't care about that. This is not about a defense of Judaism any more than the Zionist Christians and even Muslims, the handful that exist, are about their respective religions. I mean, so sorry, just
I mean, part of their speech, sorry, was I'm bringing this up because it relates directly. They were saying, please don't call it the Jewish state, call it the Zionist entity. And we were like, all right, well, thanks for that.
So it shall be named, right?
So I wanted to point out that community movement builders got a big shout out in the New York Post for some what they consider to be anti-Semitism, when our speaker, Marte White, said, it is a right to rebel. Israel can go to hell. Marte White, who said he was from Community Movement Builders, a nationwide Black activist group. Palestinians have a right to fight by any means necessary, and I do mean by any means necessary. and which White said, and they say presumably referring to Hamas's slaughtering and maiming of 1,400 Israelites or Israelis. So that's the kind of coverage we got from the New York Post. And then we were also mentioned in the ADL as well as other groups who did their whole list of what they considered to be so-called anti-Semitism at the rally or whatever like that, which led us
Well,
to
Dad, come out. Even more reason to rock the BPM swag. We should be right there next to you, man.
I wasn't there. That was Marte.
Your whole crew. You set the tone for your crew. Just like you said, if Chuck got to be blamed for Flav, you got to be blamed for everything CMB don't get right. No, I'm just playing.
No, I definitely want to be held.
By the way, that same chant was said at Montreal at the little rally we were at. The whole Israel can go to hell. So not that I would have said that because I don't agree with this kind of anti-Semitic rhetoric, but
yeah, I did notice some folks. Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
Oh no! I mean, that sounds kind of like a something that the ADL would smear community movement builders as an anti-Semitic organization. Did I hear you right when you said that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that so there. What frequently happens at these marches and demonstrations is that you have right-wing media or Zionist media or Zionist affiliated media go out and build out their talking points so that the other parts of media know how to express what they want to say in terms of the propaganda wars. And so they will list, obviously, with things that are taken as radical and revolutionary statements, fighting back against settler colonialism, are taken to be like, oh, any context in which you talk about Israel, obviously not existing as a settler colonial project, Palestinians having a right to self-determination, return, and land back, innately for them, of course, are signals of anti-Semitism, which they populate to the larger public. So we were one of those groups that were highlighted in terms of the speeches that were given, and as part of the sort of talking points, which then followed up into other articles, we were listed as one of those groups, which did lead to some trolls coming at us, personal numbers, who did some research and got our personal numbers. So you never know when it's an organized attack, because as we know, Israel has troll armies, which basically are folks who are hired to sit, research, and then reach out and either on social media or personally reach out to people's jobs, or whether or not you just have people who have a lot of time on their hand, trolls, who decide individually to do some reaching out and posting and so forth and so on. But it all stems from those ideas, those things, those packages they put together for them that then gets leaked out to other media or sent to other media for part of their talking points in terms of how articles are written.
So I'm saying them's just fighting words, because the ADL is widely cited like the Southern Poverty Law Center. Well, the ADL has deemed this organization as anti. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like that's false. That's a smear against your organization, and I don't like that a group that is widely viewed as legitimate by mainstream sources like the ADL would smear your organization in that way, because a lot of media places are going to take that as a legitimate thing, like, oh, well, the ADL said community movement builders are anti-Semitic, and that's what the fuck they're going to run with. I'm sorry, that angered me to hear that.
The ADL has a long history. It's a right-wing conservative organization. It has long stood against Black and world majority liberation struggles and organizations, snitched on them. It's like a horrific entity. It's like so I was going to suggest that you and others join Minister Farrakhan and make this a class action lawsuit. His $5 billion lawsuit against the ADL should become a class action lawsuit. And in all seriousness, I think something like that should actually happen. I think the spectacle of that would be better than just having it be the nation versus the ADL in this, which is a decades old back and forth. It should be, let's call them out, because part of what Farrakhan and that lawsuit does do, to their credit, is make reference to the ADL's history of this kind of attack against left and Black organizations. But I think, a class action lawsuit is saying, look, the smear stuff can't keep going on every time we call out Israel for its politics. You keep calling us names and da-da-da-da-da. I think that would be kind of interesting. And see Kamau up there with Crump and Maybe the minister himself. That would be kind of
Maybe
high.
the minister themselves. Yes.
Kamau,
I
Ben
would accept
Crump,
an
and
invite.
Minister Farrakhan.
I would
Totally.
accept an invite to the minister's house.
Mm.
Others have gotten
wouldn't?
invites. I was like, I would accept an invite. I'd have to go in and be like, I got to check this place out.
Hell yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't go?
Yeah. I don't know.
No,
Some
you
people
turned
maybe
down the
would not
white.
go, but I would not turn. I would be like, oh, I got to.
No, you turned down Obama and Biden's invitation. But
Yeah,
you
yes.
take Farrakhan's.
Yes.
Just on GP, you gotta take that.
I agree. So I'm waiting. If your brother
But
hears
yeah.
this, anybody else from the nation,
He's in the chat. I think he's in
that's
the
what
chat.
I'm saying. You know, because Farrakhan used to do some dinners and have. I don't know if he still does this. And then later on, all those folks when the pictures start leaking, people get called out for it. But I'm hoping to get to that level where I get on that radar. I need a dinner invite at the Farrakhan residence.
I love how you guys would just make naked appeals for invites. Shameless appeals. Why
How
not
else is
me?
this gonna happen?
Pick
Right.
me. Y'all,
Yes, I want to. I want to be invited to that.
the pick me-ism amongst the bruvs.
The other stuff I don't need to be at
Oh,
the other stuff. But
man.
I need to be at that one. I want
My
to.
I bet
daughter
they
hit
got
me
the
with
best
that.
bean pies.
Right.
I would hope
do they-
so.
Yeah, doctor, that's what I was thinking. The best bean pies. Give me that. Run
think
me
not?
that.
I won't be in the kitchen. Be like, can I take 5 of these?
And that's the challenge I want to bring, because Diallo, again, incorrectly has claimed that you can't get a good vegan bean pie. And I have said that is factually incorrect. So I want to get one. I want to go to the source and be like, let's prove Diallo wrong again on so many
True
things.
indeed. True indeed.
I mean, our brothers and sisters in the UK are dealing with this too, with, from the river to the sea being banned as a chant. And so that's why you may have seen watermelons at the protest, which is where Palestine's flag is banned because of the colors. You will see watermelons used in their place as well. And also keys for symbolizing Palestinian keys. So, yeah.
And France banned demonstrations outright. And then,
but they were like,
exactly. And I'm
Parisians
hoping
said
the
no.
same is happening in England. That is, these so-called democracies and their freedom of speech. The moment something, people are protesting something that goes against their hegemonic control, all of a sudden bans. It's quite easy to get a ban.
I mean, really warmongering stuff. I mean, invoking World War I, saying, how could people protest on Armistice Day? It's like, this is a great time to protest war on Armistice Day. So we don't have this again. But who dares? So.
Right. I mean, in part of what the concern around World War I was the abusive use of the overdone abusive use of military technology, mustard gas, et cetera, and so forth. So part of what it was, I thought, supposed to be was to say, let's not do this stuff anymore. Oh, unless it's to the Palestinians. Sorry about that. There was that little, you got to read the fine print
outside
in
of
these
the
terms of service.
Yeah. White world. Yeah.
And these
Exactly.
Outside of the garden, we can wage war. Yes.
Gotta
we can use
keep
all
reading.
this on the brown and black nations of the world. Just not internally anymore. Not internally.
But I did want to ask Lucretia, because I will admit this, I've had a number of criticisms and heard criticisms of marching as a method. But one of the things that I have always appreciated and got a little taste of even myself this weekend is that collective vibe. There is sort of a high that can occur. And I was wondering if you got any of that, if you got caught a good buzz from the energy. It sounds like it did, but I just was curious to hear something specific to that point while you were out there.
Absolutely. I thought I brought Dr. CBS's book to read, Black Scare, Red Scare, but I didn't have time because we were chatting on the bus on the way down, trying to.
You thought you were going to be reading on the bus?
I thought I was going to be reading on the bus, and that didn't happen. And so, but yeah, I think especially the speeches toward the end that they say. I mean, we were all ready to march because we had been listening for an hour, and I'm not the only one. We were all like, but the people that they brought at the end, like the Palestinian youth movement, they were just, their energy, they were so clear. And I think that emanated from the stage. And then I think we were also sad that we weren't able to go to the Back is Black Coalition March, which was earlier. We arrived at like 2, and that was earlier at 11. But I know some folks were able to meet up afterwards and see that. And a lot of that was streamed. Jackie had a speech there. Chairman O'Malley did as well. And so I just want to shout out that march as well.
Right on.
Well, let me just say, I don't understand any revolutionary, radical organizer, activist who doesn't understand the need for marches and demonstrations as part of a larger tactic and strategy and protest struggles. They serve so many different purposes, not only energizing your base, showing discontent, people making connections, challenging the state, providing cover for mass demonstrations to break state laws, to take to the streets, to block traffic, to stop standard operations. There's so many things that marches and rallies provide in terms of like tactical and again strategic method for showing outrage at either policy and or actions by the state, and they're a tried and true method that when done in mass and or when done actually do and have had impacts and effects not only in quote unquote policy but actually radical and revolutionary changes, because they show the people's discontent at something that the state is doing. And so they're always a part of anybody who's interested in organizing against something or organizing to create something, using rallies and demonstrations, parades, and other things like that have always been part of a tactic and strategy. And so
I don't agree. I don't agree that they're always in the best service of those interests. And so largely I agree with what you said, but I do think, and I have in certain spaces raised the question, not to fully advocate a full avoidance, but I do think at times we get too much into event planning as opposed to actual organizing and building. And then the event takes the place of and becomes the central strategy, and I think has been abused over the last few decades to build some individual and even organizational popularity, but not necessarily to benefit any sort of radical political move. So and then it did feel, and there was a brief moment, and this is, for me 20 some years ago at this point, but where I felt like so much of the organizational efforts that I saw happening around our spaces was just around the next event and not the building of an organization. So that was it was in that context that I was raising the critique, but not.
I don't think I disagree with that totally. Yeah, I think anything can be used abusively and or like you said, used to people jump on issues without doing any actual organizing. And so anytime there's an issue that arises, people think doing a public whatever means that they've dug deep into the issue. But I think that's different from as part of a larger tool belt of tactics and strategies. Sure. To somehow disavow, not think of it as it having a proper place to voice all the things that are talked about in terms of outrage and even your level of support on something. I think also and I don't know any organization that's not used, large public gatherings as a way to express either large support for something and or to show disagreement. And again, I think part of history is things that we don't talk about, because sometimes the sexier thing is to talk about the obviously, and the thing that to talk about the sort of revolutionary warfare aspect of it, but the protests in different areas, even during the Cuban Revolution, showed, and people going on strikes and protesting showed the strength of the movement outside of just the battlefield. So I think I don't think it's a either or thing. I definitely agree with that. Dependence on one thing in any area can be drawn out and overdone and then not produce the results that they should do or should be. Instead, they just show, hey, we're against this, or hey, look at us, or come to something that we've called, and that's it. Yeah.
Word.
Right on. What's next? What
I got a story. Ear doctors popping up.
So So he's next. So
He's next. Exactly.
Essential part of any strategy for revolution is the ear doctor.
A DJ.
So we can at least agree on that.
That's true.
I mean, I seen the dead air coming in, so I had to come and
There's no dead air. It's a pause.
I mean, he was going to get there for a second.
You can't
pause for a moment.
Pregnant pauses. No?
Pregnant pauses. Hey, y'all remember we was talking about top speakers? I would like to put this guy on the top 15 list of speakers right here.
Because our people, our organizers, our friends, our comrades have been fighting to stop Cop City. And in their fight to stop Cop City, the authorities have decided to charge them with domestic terrorism and RICO. But we know who the real domestic terrorists are, don't we?
Top 15.
Yes.
I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh,
okay. Get him. Get him. That was a KRS line. You know that, yeah, Doc.
I was listening to it this morning. I was like, oh,
you are definitely better than KRS. You are definitely better than KRS.
No, Kamal makes me want to open my purse. Like, yes, Pastor. Where I send my tithes? Yes, sir. Let's go, Brother Malcolm. Just preach that preach.
Him and that megaphone, boy. I tell you, that dude.
Wait a minute.
It's very
Is it only the megaphone, though? Let's be honest.
Kamal got his own line.
That would be dope, yo.
You know.
But I'm with you on that.
True.
I'm big on the thermal shirt.
I love the thermal shirts.
Yes.
We know. Yes, sir. We know.
All bought by wifey.
We got them all colors. I love it when you wear the black
one. We need a BPM line. That's how we're going to merge.
The oatmeal color thermal just be blended in too much with your skin tone, brother.
Oh.
So don't rock the oatmeal Jones. Rock the black.
Yeah, he look like he's naked. All right.
Not the Band-Aid skin tone.
Can't chroma key afterwards, dear doctor. You can't fix that in post production.
No
chroma key. Okay.
No chroma key. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take another quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Yes.
Damn, it's supposed to. There we go.
That's
Oh, music. There we go. A lot of buttons over here. All right, big up everybody. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com. Become a member. Yes, we got material over there that's not over here. You can go see it. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about some different shows that came on the radar in case you missed it this week on Black Power Media. First, let's start off with RSTV, where they had Dead Prez on there. And Kalanji was talking to him about the beginning of Dead Prez. Let's see what they're talking about.
Man, I want to get it started, man. Again, you all coming up out of Florida, right? Tallahassee, if I'm correct.
That's exactly right. Me and my partner Stick met in Tallahassee, Florida. I want to say, man, it was 1990, late 1990, 1991, around that time. I migrated there because of Florida A&M University. And he didn't live in Tallahassee, but he lived in a little country town about 30 minutes outside of Tallahassee.
All right, so go ahead and hear some more about the story of Dead Prez. Also, what we had on Black Power Media, I would like to share with you, is Warrior Class. That's right, Warrior Class was on. And they were talking about a different game that they were playing in the chat room that was started by Balagoon. Let's go to check that out.
All right, so let's get into it. Remember, you are Amaniki, a battle-hardened member of Warrior Class, who was sent by the Black Power Media community to investigate the murder of the Hear Doctor, not the Ear Doctor, the Hear Doctor, a singer, psychologist, speech pathologist, and prominent member of the BPM community. You must unmask the murderer before any more death and destruction happens. You will write in the chat what you should do.
What we should do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what we should do. You should.
All right, so yeah, go check that one out too. They playing games over there. I mean, where else do you go and get to play games in the chat room and discover and solve mysteries? Only here on Black Power Media, y'all. With that said, let's go ahead and get back to the host with the most. Remix Morning Show. Yeah.
Did they solve the murder mystery? Who killed you?
I don't know.
You gotta go watch the show, fool.
Yeah, you want to find out? The hair doctor. And what do you mean a speech pathologist? What are you trying to say?
Oh shit. Well. Whoa,
I don't like the silence over here. I feel almost disrespected. That's cool.
Another pregnant pause.
I see. All right, well, let me get my...
Are you going to be here for the whole show today?
Nah, I'm dipping out of here at 9:30. But I left.
Did you leave a remix? I mean, a mix?
He left
yes,
it. He left.
I did. I'm here. Okay. I'm outside. You know, I'll make sure y'all straight.
Where you going?
I gotta go teach kids.
Oh shit.
Look at, I don't like Jared Ball's little smug look over there. Listen, I talk to these kids about the same thing I talk to adults about: breathing, how to deal with stress, playing certain musics, how you need to go exercise, all this stuff a health educator should be teaching. That's that right. We didn't get while we was in school. I wish I learned how to deep breathe when I was getting mad, and how many different things might have not happened if I, you know what I'm saying? So this is something that's good for these students, and I'm here for it.
Yes. What would have never happened? You said you've never been in a fight.
That's right, because I also was deep
So
breathing.
what was it gonna happen? He said he's never been in a fight.
Not even like elementary or junior high.
I know how to control my emotions, man. I know how to control my anger.
That's not it. That's not the disbelief, Air Doctor. I think the disbelief comes in that nobody has ever punched you. like whether or not you wanted to fight or not. Did somebody ever want to fight you?
It's not always up to you.
Nah, you know what? The thing is, I think I left Jersey when I was like 14, 15, went down south. So I moved to different states and stuff like that. So it was never no reason to be like, oh, I don't like this dude. Because I was always cool. I joined the football teams on all these different high schools. So I was with all the thugs and all the different people all the time. So they was like, yo, this dude's cool.
You were the supplier, so you know everybody liked this.
There you go with that shit.
It took me no time. I moved around a lot too, and everywhere I went, somebody wanted to punch me in the face. Everywhere I went, somebody wanted to swing on me.
Not surprising.
That's not surprising. You always want to be right, Jock the Ball. I must say.
Oh, so. Shit, that one is not surprising.
It's not that I want to be right. I am always right.
And there it is. I'll catch y'all next break, man.
They found me, even in these tree-lined streets. They was like swinging at the bus stop. Little fat Kenny pulled a knife on me at the bus stop in elementary school. You little fat.
You can't wait.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
He went back to 81. He went back to 81. That's why I called.
I did. It was bad. No, man. Anyway, it was.
He pulled a knife.
He did. He pulled a knife on me, man, at the bus stop.
That's terrible.
For what though? Like, was he trying to rob?
I don't know. Honestly, that part I don't remember. That part I don't remember. I just remember we got into it and you know, but somehow he didn't know what he was doing.
As Fat Kenny, or did you just label him Fat Kenny?
He was actually known as that and worse, actually. I was the Oreo and the zebra. He was the fat boy. You know, it was pretty standard elementary school bus stop with no parental guidance. There were no parents there. It was like the South. It was like the black South Park, the black mixed South Park. There were no parents. It was just kids at the elementary school bus stop, and it was just like South Park, but a little more violent. Every once in a while, a little more violent. But no, you know, but maybe less because South Park get kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah. So we had a Kenny too.
No.
You had a fight?
People came to get me. They came to my house. They said, Lucretius is talking about you. You have to come. And I said, well, I must. So I guess I'm coming outside.
And then did
I
you
was
walk
the
up
only
on
one.
somebody? Did you walk up on somebody?
Well, it was at the corner by the rock, and I just did one good move, face to rock, and that was the end. And I said, let's not do this anymore.
Oh,
In that way, that language, that's the language you used. There wasn't no cuss, no like look.
I was like, I think I
You
don't
use the
remember
B
what I said.
word, look B, blah blah blah. And I
I was
don't mean
like,
B as in
well, we
Brooklyn
must.
B.
I was like, no, we can't do that. Something like that. Like, I'm not fighting you. Let's just end it or something. I don't know what I said. Something like that.
all
So that was
business.
the only one.
And then Lucretia
Yeah.
put the girl face into the rock, and the
I was
fight was
gonna say,
over. And the fight was over. No more fight. Fight done.
she mentioned.
I didn't want to
she did
fight.
that
I
first.
just wanted it to be over. So that was the quickest.
That'll do it.
That will do it. Yeah, that will end the fight.
That was
very
a different
quickly.
rock to the face.
That was a different rock to the
Also different rock in different
Also
form
different
to
rock.
the face.
That's it. Yeah, and the rock stayed there. It was still on our corner for a really long time. But it was like
Mhm.
big.
Just as a reminder.
A
That
monument.
was the meeting
The
place for
monument.
potential fight. Was the rock and shit. Everybody go to the rock to fight.
No, I knew the rock was there. You know how your crowd is like leading you, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are gonna fight here," and I was like, "Oh, the rock is over there. Let's go stand over there."
Oh,
So, yeah, that's it.
The rock was part of her strategy all along, right?
Mhm.
She said, no, we're not
she
fighting
did.
over
I
here. We
can't
fighting over
fight,
there.
so I was like, "We need to end this as quick as possible."
Oh,
Did the
no,
other person
darling.
fight?
I'm sorry. Putting somebody facing the rock sounds like you can fight, Lucretia.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, what?
You
I
seem to
wasn't
have
watching
figured it
warrior
out.
class at the moment, so
They teach that in warrior class.
Right.
do they?
Yeah,
Well-
they're like, you don't have to be. They have actually made the point. You don't like. It's not always about some perfectly technical move. You gotta. It's what is
Okay.
necessary to win.
Mm-hmm.
And if a rock to the face is the win, then there shall it be.
You beat the fight, Lucretia. That's
Enough
it.
of y'all mollywop stories. Could y'all get to some news?
Oh God.
Oh wow.
You gonna get Molly Wop here, ear doctor. You next. You
That's
gonna
because
get
he got
jumped.
Molly Wop envy. Because he don't got no stories. He feel like he got FOMO now.
We can go on.
Okay. I do have an update on Cop City news story.
Yes. Let's get that. Let's get
Speaking
that.
of rocks to faces.
Remixers, do us a favor, hit the like, hit the thumbs up on the video, please, and thank you. Subscribe to Black Power Media. Kamau Franklin with the Cop City update.
So as it says here, 57 Cop City protesters arraigned on racketeering charges, rally held in support. And there you see me in my thermal with my neck stretched out or whatever. Protests against the proposed training center dubbed Cop City by opponents have been going on for more than 2 years. The Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr obtained a sweeping indictment in August using the state's anti-racketeering law to target the protesters and characterizing them as militant anarchists. Demonstrators and civil rights organizations, including, I won't even mention them because they get on my nerve, have condemned the indictment and accused Carr, a Republican, of leveling heavy-handed charges to try to silence the movement. So in all, 61 people have been indicted. Yesterday, we held a protest in front of the courthouse where people were ordered to turn themselves in for arraignment purposes. So there's a prearranged arraignment and consent bond, which means folks go in, they stand in front of the judge. The judge's bond has already been worked out. They still have to they turned this procedure around, and as opposed to getting arrested first, they had their court hearing first, and then they have to go turn themselves in to get processed. And that's where the bond is paid, but the bond has already been agreed to. And so it was a great organizing experience. It was so wild, like the cats, folks created an arch for all the folks accused to walk through to go into the courthouse to the song to Beyonce, "You Won't Break My Soul," marching in together in solidarity. There was about 200 people. It was early in the morning, about 8 o'clock, 8:30 to 9, that the rally and demonstration was held. So now we're getting into the next phases where people will actually have court challenges. court hearings in terms of next steps leading up to potential trial. The prosecution offered a plea deal to everybody, and it was the same deal of doing 5 years in prison and having another 5 years probation, which everybody, of course, turned down because it was not only it's a ludicrous offer, but the charges themselves are outrageous and crazy, and have no legal bearing whatsoever, except, and part of this article that I truly do agree with, that this is a career move for Chris Carr and a way to continually criminalize organizers and the movement against Cop City. And so 61 people, basically, in particular those folks who are out of town, because remember, part of the indictment that's been happening, or part of the issue around people who've been charged, is that the folks who've been charged for RICO and domestic terrorism have themselves been targeted as people who have been out of towners. And so when there's been a series of people stopped by the police, particularly during the music festival back in March, if 10 people had Georgia state IDs, they were let go. And if 10 people had out-of-state IDs and who had never been involved in the Cop City movement whatsoever, but they were caught at the music festival or stopped at the music festival, those folks were immediately charged, and most of them were charged with domestic terrorism. And then later on, the charge of RICO was added on to them. And so this is purposefully criminalizing, purposefully trying to suggest that these folks are all out-of-towners. And again, if folks saw the indictment, purposefully trying to suggest that these are anarchists who are invading, so forth and so on. And something that I always point out is that the indictment itself says that the beginning of their so-called criminal conspiracy wasn't when we started organizing against Cop City, but the beginning of the criminal conspiracy was when George Floyd was killed by the police. For them, when the movement started against police violence, that is when a criminal conspiracy was born. And so, again, everybody is now working out today to turn themselves in for processing and to try to move the machine so they don't have to spend too much time in processing, and they'll get their bails paid by some well-established organizing processes, some bail funds, both local and national, and then they will be able to get back out and try to live some of their daily lives until the next court case.
Can you name some of those bail funds come out so we can send support?
But hold on. What? I'm sorry. 1 second before I lose sight of this. I'm not clear on what you were just saying there. Are you saying that? Wait a minute. How is it being determined that a criminal conspiracy started after George Floyd was killed? How are they? I know it's not. It can't be logical. But what is the actual? Did I miss your explanation?
Suggesting is that the day that George Floyd was killed, people gathered to start organizing and to start using tactics that they've considered criminal to fight back against the George Floyd indictment or the George Floyd murder, which then later led to the organizing against Cop City. So any manner of protest then can be linked to any other manner of protest at any other point in time and turned into a RICO charge against everybody. Exactly. That's how vast the idea of conspiracy, the use of the conspiracy charges are in this particular case. And again, this is a prototype for what they can duplicate in other states against marches and demonstrations and rallies and organizing against police violence. So it's very telling that they decided to say that the criminal conspiracy in their minds did not start. They could have very easily have said when the announcement of Cop City and the protest started against Cop City, they could have very easily have done that.
I mean, why not just take it back to Nat Turner then? Like we're just going all the way back. This has been, you are all insurrectionists.
Yes.
And terror. Wow. Anyway, sorry, Kim. I didn't forgive that.
No, it's fine. I mean, but not even though, because none of the January 6th insurrectionists were charged with domestic terrorism. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers ran up in the Capitol threatening to hang Mike Pence, and they did not catch near the amount of charges that these folks in Atlanta trying to stop Cop City have caught. But like, I know the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, the bail fund had been targeted, come out.
And they're still up and operating. So they are still up and operating. But the leadership of the Atlanta Bail Fund are 3 people who also are. They don't have domestic terrorism charges, but they also were given RICO charges, and so they also were folks who were there. Other people have taken leadership of the bail fund, and the bail fund is still operating, accepting donations, supporting protests here in Georgia, particularly here in Atlanta, and providing bail and jail support. The Southern Center for Human Rights has helped with the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, have helped put together the infrastructure here in Atlanta. We haven't had this in a long time, of actual movement attorneys to help support in terms of getting movement attorneys and or other attorneys who could be trained to support organizers and activists who get arrested. The National Lawyers Guild has been fantastic in terms of offering support, not only at marches and demonstrations. And so one of the things that has come as they have attacked the movement infrastructure, they being the state prosecutors, the city, the county, movement infrastructure still has been built up in Atlanta. Again, with a wide-ranging amount of organizations, some who have a lot of infrastructure, stability, name recognition, to, again, grassroots organizations and groups. And there's also the National Bail Fund. I can try to find a link for people to go to also donate, but they've also stepped in as support mechanisms. And again, as we've talked about many times on this program, bail funds have been around for over 100 years. They've been part of movement infrastructure. The civil rights movement used them extensively to make sure that everyday working class people in the South did not have to worry about spending too much time behind Southern jails or locked down in Southern jails in terms of their participation in the larger civil rights movement. So not only did they help people like that we know, like the Dr. Kings of the world, but they also helped everyday people be able to get bail so they can get back out in the street and not be subject to the immediate harassment and possible physical abuse by Southern jailers when people were protesting for their rights. And so the fact that this, again, this Democratic mayor in Atlanta and the right-wing Republicans in Georgia would go after the bail fund speaks volumes of what their true intent is in terms of this movement.
Was everyone who turned themselves in over the weekend, were they able to secure bail and get out?
Consent bonds were done beforehand. Most of these folks already have charges against them in terms of the domestic terrorism charges and other charges. And so this was worked out. There was a choreography, a dance done beforehand in the background with the defense attorneys, the court, and the prosecution to try to make this sort of a pro forma appearance in terms of folks having bond that was already understood that was going to be set, to consent that they would just come in, they would leave, and then they would turn themselves in order to actually have that bond paid.
Okay. So that's okay. On a slightly different note, did I also hear that Beyonce's song is being used as an anthem? And then to the point raised last week, would Break My Soul be an appropriate new Black national anthem if my remix of the Cornel West Theories, or if their remix of the Black national anthem is not acceptable because it's hip hop? Those are my 2 follow-up questions.
So yes, the Beyonce song,
important follow-up questions.
Very important. Very important. I think we're getting to the heart of the matter now.
Yes, thank
you. The Beyonce song was used as a part of a strategic, emotionally build up going into the house, basically going into the house of the state. And it was used to build up people's sort of resolve and emotion. No one suggested that at some point it should be an anthem on an ongoing basis, but something that says, hey, you will not break my soul. You will, just because you're trapping my body, you're trying to take control, you won't break my soul. You won't break my politics, my emotional tie to community and movement. And it was just that verse that was played. I don't know the other, the stanza.
Okay,
that's
right
the
on.
Yeah.
Well, because It's Gonna Be All Right by Kendrick is now being part of the global citizen movement. Did you all see this?
No.
He's now signed on to be a spokesperson or a participant in the global citizen. I hadn't actually planned to bring this up, but it just I don't know if we.
Do you have a
get
story?
to-
You have a.
I can find one real quick
because. Yeah.
but it this story here was sent somebody, I forgot who, again, I never remember who sent
What's
it
the
to me.
global citizens? I'm sorry.
So
Pardon my ignorance.
that's part of that I had to look into it a little bit myself, because this headline, Kendrick Lamar to headline New Global Citizen Festival in Rwanda, and then I went to look into what is Global Citizen, and the short version is it's a corporate business promotional, let's solve the planet's problems with symbolism and not head nods to democracy and this, that, and the third. I'll pull this up here, but it's kind of one of those disturbing, big time.
Ooh, there's some money behind
it's
that.
It's huge. Oh, there's a lot of money behind it, because all the major
Farm Aid for niggas. What is this? Live Aid for niggas. What is this? What is
but
this?
global nigga dumb. That's really what they're it's because it is a global, the idea that, and it apparently goes back a couple decades now. It's like 20 years old of an initiative that this idea that if we all recognize our global citizenry, it will help us lead to defend the planet, defeat poverty, do something with fossil fuels. I don't know exactly what, because when you find the, who we are,
I was gonna say the about us or the who we are one.
Who is this? ExxonMobil? Who's behind this?
I mean, more or less. So, like, I mean, I'll get to it as soon as this. Oh man, who we are? Where's the? No, I did. This was the Who We Are page, but I had found.
I always
at
love
one
the Who We
point-
Are when they don't tell you who they are. That's when you know. That's when you know what's up.
Right.
When the Who We Are never tells you the Who We Are, but they they have a whole bunch of new pictures and words.
Let me show you. Here are the partners. This is one of the pages that I remember I did find, because this is what I saw. You got Verizon and Delta and Citi and Google and Live Nation, who just pissed me off, and P&G, the monopolists of energy. And like, these are the ones,
Forbes?
American Eagle, Forbes.
Oh my God.
Forbes is just a supporting partner. iHeartRadio, that's Clear Channel. House of Mandela.
Who's the
This
House
is
of
not.
Mandela?
It's not what you think it is. I think they did something funky with the name. This is something I remember. I looked at it. It's the proud descendants of the late Nelson Mandela preserve the history. So I mean, it's an abuse of his. It's not Winnie.
No,
right. It's not
That's the
Winnie's
kids.
crew.
Those are the kids.
And so I mean, I didn't do a whole, but I was just.
No.
Because remember, the "It's All Right, It's Gonna Be All Right" became an anthem. Did kind of become an anthem for a minute. And it's just like when K9, I was talking about this with some fellas at the conference this weekend. Remember when K9 did Waving Flag, and then it got co-opted by the World Cup?
Yes.
And became a Coca-Cola commercial. Yeah. Like they're quick with it. And I'm not even judging the artist. To be honest, I'm not judging the artist. I really like to focus on the structure and how and what's at play here. And it happens to us as academics and pundits and politicians, et cetera. But this is it's a beautiful machine, really, that co-ops any damn thing at any opportunity.
You saw they had a picture. There was a protester, like they had one of the climate one was a picture of a rally or a demonstration.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like when would they ever really endorse that? It's like they found some Getty image and threw that up there because it's like it's completely ridiculous. It's I mean it's obvious. It's a corporate run attempt at seizing energy, getting people to go, and that's what it'll do. It'll pay the artists to have concerts, and everybody will go to the concerts and get paraphernalia and feel good about themselves, and then they'll go home thinking we just did something.
I saved the planet at Kendrick's show.
But hold on. I mean, this is being held in Rwanda. I'm curious whether actual Rwandans will be able to attend said concert. Because wasn't there one of them big Negro Fest in Ghana, and actual Ghanaians couldn't afford the tickets, right? It was all, people from outside the country coming from parts unknown to come attend this show. So will actual Rwandans be able to come to the show? And who else is on the show besides Kendrick? Is this
I'm
festival?
insufficiently prepared for it, but we'll have to, maybe we'll do a part 2. We'll do a follow-up with a little more preparation. I admit this just sort of popped in my head as we were sitting here, but
no, it's cool. Maybe somebody from Rwanda is watching, like reach out to us, because let's get somebody on the ground so they can tell us how the foolery is happening in real time.
there will definitely be a contingent.
Yeah.
And I think
somebody will
Emma's
pay for it. Somebody will pay for like an orphanage.
Now this is
People who
irony,
orphanage to go.
everybody.
Yeah.
Emma is doing irony. We can ask Kagame. There will be a little contingent of acceptable Rwandans who will be there.
This will be somebody who's going to pay for kids in an orphanage to come to the concert to see Kendrick Lamar, where they can take pictures. Again, give them Kendrick's albums and some hats that say Global Citizen on it.
While drinking Coca-Cola.
While drinking Coca-Cola, sitting in the green room, all that kind of stuff.
No, it'll be slicker. It'll be what's Coca-Cola's water? Is it Dasani? That's what they'll be drinking.
Aquafina?
So it'll be slightly less. One of them is Pepsi, one of them is Coke, but the slightly less overt version of them with a Coke product. But yeah, absolutely. But speaking of absolutely necessary Africans who must be everywhere, there we go.
Hey, is it me or is it Kendrick Lamar's "I'ma Be All Right" starting to sound more like Bobby McFerrin's "Don't Worry, Be Happy"?
I would have to say that it always sounded like that to me, and I was always on that bus. So
really, are y'all being serious right now?
I am. I never.
You never thought he was the next Chuck D or whoever, like in hip hop or whatever.
Well, then maybe. No.
The next politicized rapper who was gonna the next.
Well, as soon as he amended his lyrics for the Super Bowl performance, he took out the reference to the cops beating us, and when he did "It's All Right" at the Super Bowl, like it's been Bobby McFerrin. Although again, McFerrin said he did that song as a joke, to be facetious. Or to be ironic, that the song was itself ironic, unlike Alanis Morissette's song. But
let's hope that Kendrick did the same. Yeah. Let's hope that Kendrick did the same.
Yo, shout out to Robin Williams, who was in the Bobby McFerrin "Don't Worry, Be Happy" video, if memory serves.
He was, absolutely.
Oh, that's right, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
and
let's go ahead and
high as a kite, and shout out to that too.
He did look high. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we're gonna come back right here on the Remix Morning Show. I'm telling everybody. That's right. You will not break my soul today. No, you will not. All right. Big up to everybody here listening. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also go to patreon.com. Become a member over there so you get the content. Bam. All right. So what we're going to talk about right now, you know I like to do an artist spotlight. What artist am I going to spotlight today? No other than the man, them call Peter Tosh. Yes. Peter Tosh, also known as Winston Herbert McIntosh. So that's where the Tosh comes from. All right. He is reggae musician, along with Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer. He was one of the core members of the Wailers from 1963 to 1976, which he established himself a successful solo artist and promoter of Rastafarianism. He was murdered in 1987 during a home invasion. A home invasion that came from people he knew. Like, they came up in his house and was like, yo, you got some money? He's like, nah, I ain't got no money. And then they just tortured him. And people kept coming by to check on him, and they grabbed him and brought them in the building and tortured them and wound up shooting Peter Tosh in the head and another DJ guy that came over to go check on Peter Tosh. Crazy. But I just wanted to put that out there and also let you know that he has a dope discography. He has like 7 albums, 7 live albums, studio albums, 7 live albums, 7 studio albums, and he has a bunch of compilations. So go and check that brother out right there. And also with that said, I wanted to bring up something that Peter Tosh talked about that a lot of people aren't talking about. Let's go here real quick. Check this out.
Don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man. In 1977, reggae legend Peter Tosh released the song Equal Rights, demanding freedom for a number of African nations, but he also mentioned another country.
Justice, Palestinians fighting for equal rights and justice.
When George Jackson, a Black Panther, writer, and revolutionary, was killed by prison guards in 1971, 2 poems were found in his cell. They were translations of resistance poetry by the Palestinian poet Sami al-Kazem. Peter Tosh and George Jackson's connection to Palestine are just 2 examples of a long history of solidarity between Black liberation and Palestinian self-determination, 2 struggles that have been in dialogue for decades.
All right, so now you know a little bit more about Peter Tosh. Go check out that brother's discography, and trust me, you will enjoy it. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do.
Yeah, big up to you for that one. Yeah,
yeah,
right on it.
Yeah, I love it. Look at that.
I don't come to play. I don't come to play. I don't even. I got kicked out of recess because they was like, "You're not gonna play." I was like, "Nah."
That was really good. That was really.
That was very dope. Please share the link to that video. The 2 things quickly. So to get around my fear of rally speaking, part of what I did as a strategy was to read Enemy of the Sun at the rally I was asked to speak to. So I read that poem that one of the poems they found from Kasim, and it's dope and very powerful. So shout out to him and of course George. And then I had also read once years ago that a politicized version of that assassination that argued that not all of the assailants were people Tosh knew. And in fact, one of them had been a former New York City police officer, to show a connection to an attempt to suppress radical artists and particularly Black revolutionary artists. Now, I have never confirmed that or followed up with that, but I've always remembered that version. And so the connection there with George in that video
I mean, even going back to
even
Malcolm
more
X
stark,
speaking
yeah.
about Palestinians, I was like, damn, this goes back a while.
Well, and I'm sorry, but that is also very important that there, Black radical history and the Black radical tradition has always been in solidarity with Palestinians, and this new version of rebranding that, or an attempt to rebrand that today, is a mess.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
I am out of here. I'm going to drop that link before I get out of here, but I will catch y'all tomorrow morning. I got to go teach the youth.
Go teach the youth, Air Doctor. Thank you. You just taught us. You just taught us.
I did.
He did.
You did.
So fix your
That
face,
was
Jared.
excellent.
Tell
That
him.
was
That was excellent. That was
that
excellent.
was no
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I don't know where it's been the last 2 years, but that was excellent.
Shush. Here, shush it. Just say no. That's my favorite Peter Tosh song. Just say no. Must Rasta live in misery while all the heathens go free? Just say no.
We need to get somebody on from Jamaica. We don't talk enough or know enough, I would say, about like what's going on in Jamaican politics or whatever. Like, so I like to. We should get somebody on. Anybody in the chat got some recommendations for experts?
As they used to say, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
And this guy is actually a woman. And I got 2 off the top that I think I will reach out to specific to that request.
Yeah.
But others should also. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't
That's a
think we've
good
ever
idea.
covered Jamaica. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff that's making international news that pops up that we see, at least. But it would be good to have a clear understanding of what's happening on the ground in terms of Jamaican politics. Because obviously at one point Jamaica did go left, or relatively speaking left, with Manley. And so what has been sort of the decades post that in terms of Jamaican politics?
Was it Leah? Leah, was this you? This was maybe a year ago. I don't remember. But anyway, somebody in the chat had suggested that we talk about, what was it? A bauxite, Bauxite, some sort of mineral mine that obviously tremendously damaging to the environment, to the citizenry there. And I even think one of the reggae artists had got involved with it. I can't remember who it was though. Was it Beanie Man? Was it Buju? It was somebody. But anyway, but no, somebody. We have been suggested Jamaican stories in the past. So yeah.
And you know what? I ran into Keto Swan this weekend, who told me that he's working with Supercat on a new project about Supercat's politics, and put me on to like a lot of that. Even songs that we might remember from Supercat were way more political than I certainly remembered them to be. So maybe that would be a bauxite aluminum. How did the British say it? Aluminium. I do like how they say it better. Aluminium. But yeah. So that, I think all of that is, I'll reach out to Keto. Ricky's right. Dr. Monique Badesi is absolutely on the list, and check out our previous interviews with her. And then I got another guy, as they say, but of course this guy is a woman. So
female.
I will reach out to a female. You know how these females be talking about Jamaica.
My guy was actually a female.
My guy was actually, so.
Oh my God, I hate it so bad.
Did y'all already talk about, Jared, your trip
this weekend?
Yeah.
I did a little bit yesterday. I did it. I talked about it yesterday, but
you didn't do it here on the remix, though.
No. Just I could do a short recap. By the way, I thought about it a minute ago because I saw somebody when Lucretia mentioned Dr. CBS's book, and then a couple people in the chat were referencing the baby and the pregnancy. I saw all of them briefly at the conference, and I missed the panels. I didn't go to any panels, but I did get to greet and see Dr. CBS again in her pregnant splendor.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Oh yeah, she did a pop pregnant.
So I was like, I was thinking, like, this is the conference, like this. I was, I'm not in her business like that, but one of the thoughts I did have, because I, flashed back to our moment in that time, and it's like this, like how risky, how close is the phone? Like, what are the plans? It's like, baby, you have a conference, baby. But she was there and seemed in good health and good spirits, and that was dope. And then I had never met. Now I just went blank. But anyway, I got to see Keto Swan again, saw Josh Myers, I saw Ashley Farmer real quick. I saw got to hang out with Daruba, which is always fun and wild, and seeing Daruba in person and in the flow of his daily, I mean, it's
it's always a sight to see.
And and you could just feel like the energy, like something might happen. Something might happen.
It's like a live wire. It's like being around a live wire. Like it's like
no doubt.
Yeah.
Quintessential live wire. Why am I blanking? It'll come back to me. But it was just great. And Orisami's family is wild, and I got to have him come on here and talk about and bring the family. I mean, his family's stories. It makes perfect sense that he would have produced this what I think is generational text. It's like Joy is brilliant.
Joy James was there, right?
Joy James was there, got to bill with her. Dylan Rodriguez was there. I mean, all at dinner at one point. Like, it was wild. I mean, it was great. Yeah. And then we did decide to walk out with the rally, so we didn't actually get to do the panel.
I didn't do the actual panel?
So the panel never happened because we decided to be in solidarity with the walkout and went to this rally that turned out to be pretty big. The conference I was at and another conference all walked out. So we marched a little bit, which I'm just not built for anymore. Straight up. I mean, it's
the knees. Is it the knees?
The back. It's the back, man. I'm really like at the point. Like, I was like, I got to go back, man. I'm a medical liability. I'm gonna have to, or I got to just commit and get and accept like a chair or something. Like, I got to get a wheelchair or something, and just accept the Nerdapalooza. Yeah, Nerdapalooza, no doubt, Hiram. And that was that was it. Like it was perfectly worth it. And I said the one thing that was a little shocking to me was that it was weird because I know how we feel around here, but I felt like I had too much unfettered access to Daruba. Like we're just sitting out in the hotel restaurant, and I would have thought, man, people should be coming over here. And they're just walking by, having their drinks and their meals and whatnot. And I'm just sitting there like, all right, I'll just keep. I mean, I'll, it, you know. But I was like, wow, I would have thought, he should have been holding court. But it was a little reminder, slightly different space that, I mean, that was in. So it was dope though. Yeah, but it was dope. It was
the book you highly recommend. I just like it. Yeah.
No, Ori's book. I mean, I haven't. Honestly, I mean, I haven't been this moved by a book that goes right down the lane I'm in a long time, and I really do mean it when I think it's a generational text. I think what he's done here is remarkable, and I encourage everybody to read it and find ways to engage whatever he's saying. He's saying a lot, and it's brilliantly done, and it all is centered around these politics with interviews with Daruba and Daruba's sort of older brother, Masai, and all these other radical figures, and explains how we're really connected to prisons. That's the way I look at it. It's not what they're doing in there has been in fact impacting us in ways we don't realize, and so yeah, I can't say enough about it, so.
Cool.
Anyway, the conference was dope. It is what it is though. It's a conference. It's a high level academic conference. And, I do want to hear what happened on Joy James' panel though. Apparently some younger folks got at her a little bit.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. She's usually a fan favorite of the students.
Well, but she's raising criticism of, but she's, I think, and I heard about it, and I talked a little bit about this to a much lesser extent myself, but like we represent, I don't mean to categorize myself with Joy J. Let me rephrase that. But there is a similar description or feeling that she and others are criticizing sacred cows and sacred approaches even. And there's a defensiveness around it. And then, there are people who have their sort of grad student contingencies or contingents or communities that defend whatever set of scholars or scholarship that they're connected to. And if that is seen as being challenged, so I would have liked to but I didn't see it. I'm hearing it all second and third hand. So, but I would have, because to your point, I'm thinking what maybe disagreement, questioning, but the way I'd heard it described as a real, like they got at her. I'm thinking I'm suspicious of what that says about their politics, to be honest. But I am biased and did not see it. So interesting stuff though. And so. All right. What else should we get to? What else? Anything else you all?
Kim, you got any stories that you sent me, or?
Shout out to Erica. She got some good stuff on this run sheet for us.
Yeah, let's go to the run sheet. I didn't send any stories today.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Oh no, I thought it was saying something about. Sorry, I misread the headline. I thought we had a Beyonce connection, but it's not. I thought it was saying something about blue ivy, but it's talking about black ivy. A debate brews among Black Ivy League students over representation on campus. Why some Black students on Ivy League campuses say they feel like a minority within a minority. Dun, 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 dun.
It is it's an NBC News story, so okay.
Michaela Glavin did not feel a sense of belonging in the Black community when she arrived as a freshman at Harvard. The Black student body was warm and welcoming, but as a multi-generational African American, a descendant of enslaved Africans brought to the U.S., she said she felt like a minority with. Oh, I know where this is going. Dun, 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 dun. I know where this is going.
Is this ADOS in disguise? What's this? What are you talking about here?
So
too many immigrants at Harvard.
Right.
All right, well, let me read at least one more paragraph here. Sorry about that. Before I start. The Black student body was warm and welcoming, but the descendants of slavery on campus are woefully underrepresented, said Glavin, now a junior. Black and Latino students have long been underrepresented on Ivy League campuses as a whole, even when these colleges practiced race-conscious admissions. So when the Supreme Court in June struck down affirmative action programs at Harvard and the University of California, effectively ending the systematic consideration of race in the admissions process, experts sounded the alarm that enrollment at elite colleges could drop for Black and Latino students. But African-American students, in this article we're using African-Americans to specifically denote descendants of enslaved people, at Ivy League schools are concerned about a more nuanced shift. Admission officers may be missing or ignoring the difference between descendants of enslaved people whose families have faced centuries of educational and economic racial disparities and Black immigrant families who still face racism but are likely to be less tied to generational economic hurdles that can make elite educations unobtainable.
Are they? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I obviously, I'm not reading the entire article. I'm only sitting here and read the whole thing. But this is an old issue. There's a somewhat famous clip that I know some of the reverse hashtaggers have used where they want to simultaneously disassociate themselves from the Black Panther Party legacy, but they have found a clip where Kathleen Cleaver is talking about this in the context of Yale Law School some years ago, I think on 60 Minutes even, something like that, where she was bringing up the point that there has been an attempt and a designed effort by these institutions to bring in continental Africans and to suppress Black American, similar to when Eleanor Cliff on the McLaughlin Group, I'll never forget watching this live, when she said that it was basically okay to support Barack Obama because he, quote, did not have the baggage of slavery.
Yes.
And so there is a reality. I spent a few years on Cornell's campus. I've been at the University of Maryland, which is not quite Ivy League, but is still an elite public institution. There is, there is an overt attempt to bring in the African diaspora, to bring in these Black immigrants, and it has, and the class element of it has caused some problems. I've talked about the past where I've gotten into some issues because I debated the former chair of the political science department, who was from one of the islands in the Caribbean, who said on a panel openly that it's Black Americans' culture of violence that he was able to avoid that has led to so many of the problems on our campus at Morgan State. And I thought it was atrocious and amazing that he would be able to say this on a Black campus and not be challenged.
Wow. Wow.
And we had a debate that he refused to allow me to record, and he was right to do so. He did not it didn't go well for him. But the point is that this is an issue. Now, and I'll stop here because I could go on. I'm seeing the time. I didn't realize we were running. But
no, we have time.
The problem, no, but I could really go on and on for this. The problem, though, is that even with the reverse hashtaggers, there is a thread of accuracy in their argument. There is a reality where Black people from the United States are targeted for suppression in ways the diaspora is not, particularly the diaspora that is invited here, which come from a class-elevated position that most people in their own countries do not have. They are invited here. They are often sponsored by white groups and white student bodies and institutions. They are diverted socially and otherwise away from Black people. We watched that. We struggled directly with that at Cornell. This was an immediate problem in the Africana Studies Center. And so I've seen it happen. The problem is the encouraged response is some reactionary, backwards, literally hashtag-wise, concept where the allegiance is then encouraged among Black people to go back to the United States as opposed to any sort of radical Pan-Africanism. And then we're encouraged to look at our cousins and brothers and sisters from the diaspora as an enemy and as taking resources that are themselves controlled by the same handful of whites. So instead of raising that as a question, why is the competition so high? Why is Harvard praising its 2% and less acceptance rate when it has billions in an endowment that could literally solve the housing and homeless and educational and healthcare crisis by itself? And yet we're encouraged to go to war intellectually and otherwise with the diaspora instead of that being raised as a question. And then the more treacherous among us are raised and encouraged and promoted. And so I'll stop there, but it's a legit issue.
But is it something that's affecting the whole community though? Because I'm sorry, like I don't really have a lot of empathy for any students of any elite Ivy League school, right? Like good. I'm glad you found yourself in that spot. I hope you can elevate yourself in a way that you dream about. But I don't see how these students' inclusion or exclusion from specifically these Ivy League schools, how does this impact the greater community at large, or is this just a particular issue for those who are privileged to be in such a position to begin with?
It's a great question. My Ivy League degree barely has helped me, much less you or anyone else. So,
Kamau, how's your Ivy League degree going? You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. I'm like, okay, bougie niggas, I'm sorry, y'all not feeling included. All right, transfer. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling to care. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not completely unsympathetic, but I'm really struggling to care. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm wrong for that. Is that wrong? Am I?
I don't think you're completely wrong, but I would only add that part of whoever gets educated at those schools then becomes part of the larger elite, which then sets the precedence for how we discuss things, what gets written about, what gets part of the sort of larger dialogue in society. And so whatever the views of those folks hold, they become the natural lines of demarcation around what's acceptable conversation. And so they won't frame things the way that Jared just framed it in terms of what the conversation really should be or whatever. They'll frame it more like what this article is. And it's this sort of tit for tat, them versus us, and no real discussion around who gets to choose, who gets in these institutions anyway. So in that respect, I think, obviously, whoever necessarily gets to go to some of these institutions, the roles that they play in keeping these institutions going can make a larger difference in the rest of the world. Again, they filter their discussions filter down to how we talk about job inequity or race relations or even the lack thereof of discussions around imperialism, Western hegemony and the rest of it. So in that respect, I think it can make a larger difference. But I don't think you're totally wrong too, is that it's such a minute degree or percentage of the larger population that, as Jared said, it don't make a difference to me in my life whether you get to go or not or whatever. And it's not like most of y'all are coming back and using whatever skills, information, knowledge,
that part,
networks that you have to do something a lot, and not exclusively. Because there are some folks I know who've went to some of these Ivy Leagues who have done some really incredible and continue to do and are part of organizing circles and so forth. But the percentages are so small of those who do it that becomes one of the issues. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this just sounds like a big Roland Martin kind of topic, right? This is some shit that Roland Martin would be wringing his hands over. Like, oh my God, the black students at Harvard. And it's like, nigga, how many fucking black students are at Harvard? How many of the black students going to graduate? Like, I mean, proportionality wise, we have to, I don't know.
No, it's a good point. It is, if I, again, shout out to my daughters, it's giving that Byron Allen, I'm black when I need help getting control of a TV network.
Yeah, Byron.
Let's rally the troops.
My blonde, blue-eyed wife got to be in this picture right now.
Stand over there for a second.
Stand over there right now.
I got to do this black money grab real quick.
I got to be black for a second. You're not going to help me right now. You're not helping me right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on.
Move them mulatto kids out the way. Move them mulatto kids out.
Even they're too
They're too light. They're too light.
Too light. I'm sorry. They're too light.
Did that adoption go through the Rwandan kid? Is he here? Is he here yet?
Oh my God! Right.
Have you sent
the Angelina Jolie adoption agency pipeline?
Madonna. Madonna was snatching them kids straight from Rwanda. She was
on the shore like, come to me, children. Oh,
Madonna was stealing kids. Stealing kids like her ancestors used to, right from the continent. It's like, God damn, Madonna. There's plenty of white kids over there in Bulgaria just looking for a home. And you got to go to Africa to go steal black children. Girl, please.
But she sure enough did make sure to say that it was black men that were the most abusive in her experience. She did. And Bell Hooks even called her out for that. When she had her little Big Daddy Kane soiree and maybe one or another, she did come out. She said, of all the men, and then because Bell Hooks was like, Bell Hooks said, what's his name?
Sean Penn used to ring her bell.
That's what he
Let's
said.
not
That's what
even
Bell Hooks
play
said.
around.
She said Sean Penn used to whip her ass.
Yes.
And she talking about the black man, this and that. Yeah.
Girl,
that was it.
please. Girl, please.
Another tangent. Doesn't she she had did Tupac wrote some letter to her? They had some secret relationship and how he couldn't make it public because of her race or whatever, like some shit like that.
She used to go visit him, or she had visited him. I do know that.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I know Jada is now saying that they had this special relationship. Jada Pinkett is now saying.
But they had a relationship when they was in Baltimore together. That her and Pop
Well,
go
she's
back,
saying,
you know?
I thought she was saying something else about, I don't know. I'm not reading it. I'm not really paying attention. But I thought she was getting dragged because she's trying to blow that out of proportion. But
there was an
Pop
episode.
connection. It's always been part of her history to kind of big up and get her street cred.
What street? She's an actress. What kind of street cred does she need? She married to Will Smith. What kind of street cred does she need from
You got to balance it out. You got to, again, Byron Allen got the white wife, but he also got to push her aside at times to balance that shit out. You got to balance the Will Smith and the Tupacs out. You got choices to make. You got audiences to reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I'm telling y'all, for everyone who remember this episode of A Different World, the episode where Pac did appear on A Different World, with Jada Pinkett, I mean, the chemistry really undeniable. Like you could tell, like there was not just something going on. Like these people know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it was undeniable. But Jada Pinkett, she doesn't need no street cred. Is my point. Actresses don't.
Jada's always tried to build up a little bit of like she's some. I don't even know nothing about her background. But she
said she was slinging dope.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people's first jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people's first jobs is selling drugs. Like, I mean, I believe. I don't have no reason to disbelieve it. Why? I mean, what kind of shit is that to lie about? But
no, it's all in how you say it, though. It's doing it. I guess it's how you say it. Yeah.
I mean, it's another, non sequitur, but it wrecked Whitney Houston because she couldn't keep that balance. Whitney went from being
she wasn't selling it; she was consuming it. That was the.
Not the drugs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. Sorry, I mean.
I meant to try to balance the white life, black life thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like trying to hide who she was or what she was connected to, and then trying to move all the way back over to another side.
I see.
Like, you know what I mean?
People like don't. Do you remember she got booed to be?
Yes. That's exactly right. She got booed.
It's crazy.
Which I think was wrong anyway. I mean, but because I was like, her music, she had black music. I was like, the voice of hers, like y'all ripping. But she did. She got booed at the American Music or the Soul Train Awards or something.
It was I
don't remember that.
Yeah, because her initial presentation. Because remember, her initial presentation was very polished and poppy and.
Totally, that's how Whitney was marketed. She wasn't marketed as an R&B singer. She was marketed as a pop artist.
She got booed by black folks. I had to be
like, we don't want you. It was like one of the black award shows, and black folks were like, "Nah, we're not going for it." And I'm like, "Wow, that's."
It was a Soul Train Awards. Yeah, it was a within our community, it was a big moment. It was like Whitney Houston got booed by black folks.
It's always been a little shocking to me that happened.
Shortly thereafter, she started, at least in my imagination, I think she started dating Bobby. I might be.
Is it that immediate? She went the overcorrection. You got to be careful. That overcorrection is a monster. You got.
That's what I'm saying. She overcorrected.
But the narrative I keep being told is that she ruined Bobby, and I thought I was like, is that? I was like, that's the. It's
I don't know about ruined, but she thugged out Bobby when everybody thought that Bobby thugged her out, and now maybe there was some discrepancies there. But listen, period, point blank, Whitney was always from Newark, okay? Like, you can take the girl out of Newark. You cannot take Newark out the girl. Like, period, point blank. Like, there was no way she was going to be able to keep that up for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you need a footnote, just reference Ear Doctor. If you need a footnote for Kim's claim, you need a citation. Just
Well,
reference the
I don't.
ear
I
doctor.
can't speak on Trenton, but Newark, you cannot take. You cannot take.
Oh, I thought he
Newark out of
claimed
people.
Newark. My bad. You're
Nah,
right. You're
nah.
right.
He
You're
from
right.
Central
You're right.
Oh, she
Jersey.
did it
I'm
for a
talking
while
about
though. I mean, she was
You're
under
right.
the
You're right.
tutelage of that dude. What's his name?
Clive Davis.
Clive Davis for a while. Like
Yes, she
So
was.
yeah, and she
That's
she built it on that pop theme. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Alicia
remember
Keys.
Whitney's
Sorry,
Black.
go ahead.
No, I remember it was "I'm Your Baby Tonight." That album, like "My Name Is Not Susan." That's the album that I think Babyface and L.A. Reid produced and wrote songs for her. So that was sort of like her Blackward shift towards Babyface penned songs away from the Narada, Michael Walden and the Burt Bacharach penned songs. You know what I mean? And then she, and then she started, doing the Heartbreak Hotel and whatever, Waiting to Exhale and da 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 da. But yeah, no.
So I had to do, speaking of Babyface, I just had to do my version of Eddie Murphy's routine defending Stevie Wonder as a musical genius because a reference was made to Babyface and my daughters were like, who is that? And I had to go through a whole pound on the kitchen table, like, you not gonna disrespect no Babyface again. Babyface is a musical genius. He contributed to the art of this and that.
Are you not?
No,
you
hate on Babyface?
They can
Come
disrespect
on,
Babyface.
Kim.
They can disrespect. You guys, I'm talking about the pen. First of all, I hope we are not comparing Babyface and Stevie Wonder as songwriters.
I'm not. I wasn't doing that. I was talking about the Eddie Murphy routine, not the comparison between Stevie and Babyface.
I'm not even familiar with that routine. Wait, I've never heard.
What Eddie Murphy did, it was a whole thing. Stevie Wonder's a musical genius. I can't remember the whole, but all right, okay. But just to be clear, I'm not comparing Babyface and Stevie Wonder.
But
Okay, good.
Hit, as a popular songwriter, like he's and within a genre, he is definitely a genius within a genre.
Genius. I mean, is R. Kelly a genius? Genius, gentlemen.
You could be both a pedophile and a genius.
Oh
no. Listen.
You can't be both. You can't. It's or. It's not. It's. I mean, but
Hitler was a talented painter.
Shit. I'm not disputing. I'm not disputing prolific songwriter, hit maker, balladeer. I'm not disputing. I'm talking about actual quality of song. And we're talking about pen here. Okay, maybe because Stevie got brought up. I'm like, hey, now one of these niggas fucking with Stevie pen, period.
Somebody said it was from Eddie Murphy Raw. Who said that in the chat? Was it that? It was somewhere in there. Eddie Murphy did a thing where but again, I'm not saying Babyface is Stevie Wonder. I was just saying.
No one would say that. No one in their right mind would say
that. I went into an Eddie Murphy style presentation. You can't. But I hear you, Ricky. Ricky saying it's my bad parenting. It's my fault. They don't know. You're right.
No, it's
you're
not.
right. When you're right, you're right. Blame it on the parents.
Listen to how simplistic Babyface's songwriting is. I mean, it's I'm lost without you. You are my boo. I mean, it's almost like your daughters could have written
did a whole song with one word. He said
James
please
Brown,
for 10 minutes. Please.
Also a musical genius, but definitely
no
a musical
doubt.
Genius. Yeah. So
where's the pen in
Lionel
that?
Richie a musical genius? Is Lionel Richie a musical genius?
Yes.
Over Baby, it's the same music.
You're out your mind. You are out your rabbit ass
music.
mind.
Lionel Richie. Again, I have in the background. I have somebody teaming up against me in the background.
Good. Thank you again.
Lionel Richie is the same music.
No,
Don't
sir.
forget the Commodores.
Thank
you. Gotta give
That's
credit
what I'm
for the
talking
Commodores.
about. Right. Now, if you comparing Lionel Richie's solo stuff to Babyface solo stuff, I could see a comparison, but let's not forget the Commodores.
No, the Commodores was deeper.
Talk to me again.
Shift right there. She's doing night. And of all their hits, Night Shift was one of theirs.
What? Well, that was after Lionel had left the group, by the way. The night.
Exactly.
but Zoom, come on, I'm like Dr. West now. Zoom, brothers, my dear brothers.
Zoom, Sail Away, Sail On By, whatever it is.
Yeah, they had a lot of records.
Yeah, they had a lot. Yeah, but I still say Babyface for that time period. I mean, he laced a lot of artists.
Lot.
He made a lot of hits. I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about were they good songs. There's a lot of shit right now that is topping the charts. Is it good, Kamau? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what's the quality? What's the quality controls?
I think if you put on a whole row of Babyface
Tell them,
songs,
Skip.
you still would be swaying to Babyface. Anytime if you throw no one gets off the floor, and nobody does like, oh, that's it. But there's a couple of Lionel Richie songs if you throw out there. It's like, why are y'all playing that? I thought that song was dead.
Hold up. Just a quick Google search to my man Skip's point. Because, we come with the facts here. Songs by Babyface.
I'm not disputing.
Come on.
I'm not disputing the catalog. I know Tony Braxton and Madonna and Boyz II Men and TLC. I get, but what are name some of them joints real quick? Because if you listen to the song structure, the way that the verses are penned, I mean, it's all very basic shit. It's all very seventh grade poetry class. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing.
I mean, who's writing dissertations in these songs? Who's got the lyric? Who's the lyric?
Pick one. Listen to Jilly. Listen to Urga.
Stevie had a couple of clankers too, though. Come on now. Ebony and Ivory. Ebony and Ivory.
Of what?
Ebony and Ivory.
But the cracker was on that record. You can't blame Stevie for that.
Oh, wow.
You can't
there it is.
You can't blame Stevie for that.
He was dragged down by the cracker.
Because look, just for on a side street here, right here. What was the worst song on Thriller? The Girl Is Mine. Paul McCartney was out here trying to fuck up black careers. He was trying to ruin people's albums with them clunkers of singles. Like, Paul McCartney, if you don't get your ass off this goddamn Thriller record.
You're right. He was like, if I can't have the Beatles, nobody gonna have a career.
But I still like to go. But I did like to go this month.
The Girl Is Mine is the worst record on Thriller.
It was like one of those easy
all of his
rocker
interventions were whack. All of his interventions were whack.
I don't understand the way you feel, saying that you just no. Shut up, Paul.
Now, say. I can't stand really that much. Say. It's like like
terrible song again. Paul McCartney, what you thought Paul McCartney was trying to collaborate with these artists? No, he was trying to sabotage. It was sabotage.
Speaking of overblown geniuses or people who get the genius marker, where it's like the Beatles shit, I was like, whew. When I speak to white people, the Beatles, oh my God.
Oh, that's like, my fight starter.
That's your fight starter?
The Beatles are overrated. That's the line right there. The Beatles are whack. Take that British invasion back to the lab. They white folks start to
they do
red face, beers start dropping, glasses. What? The peaceful white folks start taking take the jackets off.
Right?
No. You're right.
Beatles ain't shit.
Right. They'll walk out on you.
Whites be ready to fight behind the Beatles. Don't do it.
They do. You gotta be careful with that. But Beatles ain't shit.
Hey.
The other one used to be back in the 80s. I'd be like, Eddie Van Halen ain't shit.
Oh.
Jimi Hendrix wiped his ass with Eddie Van Halen. The white boys be.
No, Eddie Van Halen was definitely a hill that the whites was ready to die on.
Oh my God, were they? Yeah. They were ready to die on the Van Halen hill, no doubt. Eddie, yeah, okay. All right, speaking of dying on hills, we do have a break delivered us to go out with from the Ear Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Ear Doctor. Thank you, Ear Doctor.
The Remix Morning Show can die on this Ear Doctor hill.
Hey, do we have any super chats that we need to address? People send us love real quick.
Kamau, get on your grind. There we go. Thank you.
BPL,
Existential.
$10.
Call it that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Infinite Content. Quick shout out to the part of Oakland protesters who stopped the shipment of military stuff going to Israel. Yeah, nice. For a moment. I write on parentheses for a moment.
Right.
We'll Parker, $5. Thank you. Shout out to the woman, I don't know her name, from Black Alliance for Peace, who spoke at Free Palestine rally on Saturday in D.C. She said her brother was Kwame Ture. Stop playing.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Okay, right on. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you.
And A-Rob, thank you. Look up Teresa Graves and Whitney Houston. It'll blow your mind. Deep rabbit hole.
Uh-oh. Teresa Gray.
You know what?
Okay?
I got a couple minutes. Let's start. Let's start after the show. You got something to do after the show. Down we go.
Oh goodness.
Was there one
all right,
more?
good people.
Or no, that was it.
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
So
All right.
That's okay. We
do better
understand it.
tomorrow.
No, it's the first. It's the week of the first.
Right.
And I know y'all who don't pay bills, y'all are not familiar with these dates as they pop up on the calendar. But rent and mortgages due first of the week, first week of the month. So 15th check, y'all. We'll be checking back for y'all pre-Black Friday. Maybe we should have a Black Friday sale on BPM merch. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Hey, speaking of, anybody apply for the job? We got a new senior director.
We do. We haven't hired one yet, but we do have a number of good applicants. The process is moving. So thank you for reminding us. Folks should stay tuned and announcements forthcoming. But yeah, we got a number of good applicants. There are some very talented and brilliant people who want to who are already committed to the platform and want to help us make it better. So
beautiful.
Awesome.
Wonderful to hear.
All right. So back tomorrow morning with more remix. Make sure you got the bell rung so you don't miss everything in between. And we're going to let the ear doctor take us out once again since he owes us. So peace, everybody. Only if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred said. Catch you tomorrow.
I don't need no dreams when I'm by your side.
Let's go.
Ooh. Every moment takes me to paradise. Darling, let me hold you. I want you in my arms and melt your fears away.
Let's get it.
Show you all the magic that a perfect love can make. I need you night and day, so baby be mine. Baby, you gotta be. And yeah, I give you all I got to give. So baby be my girl all night. And we can share this ecstasy as long as we believe in love.
That's what we doing. We rocking out right here, right now. This is Sunday's Radio.